Welcome to this edition of the Golden Rule. Jesus gave us that, the Golden Rule. Treat other people the way you want them to treat you. You know, and we've been thinking about how do we do that, and there's many different ways that we can do it. I just want to mention up front here that we got these yard signs we're going to make available for you to put in your yard. Yeah. By the way, this is Nick Christensen. He's my guest today. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to make these available at the Holmes Theater when we have our play. You heard about the play, In His Steps, April 5th and 6th. Be there. Raina's going to put the information on the screen as to how you can get your tickets. But we want to talk today about Jesus in a particular context here. And I got two scripture verses I want to start out with. The first one is Romans 1:16, which says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes." There's power in the gospel message. Jesus is Lord. That's power right there. Then the other verse I want to read is Matthew 10, verse 32 and 33, which says, "Whoever therefore shall confess me," Jesus, "before men, him will I confess also before my Father, which is in heaven." Don't miss this next part. "But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father, which is in heaven." So Nick, that's our springboard. And here we go.
Here we go.
So you love Jesus.
I do.
And you're not afraid to make that known.
Mm-mm.
Even concerning your business, you still promote the Lord in conjunction with your business. How do you do that?
Yeah. We get to talk about it in the office. We do.
In your office. You
Yep.
talk about Jesus in your office.
Yep. When we're making big decisions, my team and I, if it's a really big decision, that could be a hard one, we definitely pray, default to prayer on that. We need that. And then it's been really cool. So we feel blessed to have a platform that is called State Farm, and it's a very, very well-known company. So when we had the chance to make Detroit Lakes our home, when we had this feeling that when I'd walk around telling, this is our town, this is where we get to make a difference, this is where we get to do this. And so I felt very called to very fortunate that he's trusted me with a platform that's with the State Farm name linked to it. And so I'm like, well, we can do something with that. And it was all geared to make a difference inside of our walls with our customers. And then I quickly found out that it can be much bigger than that. And so we started putting messages on our billboards, and that's our platform. And it started with feel appreciated, because we want you to feel appreciated when you come to us.
Sure.
Which then, through COVID, watching some pain that some families had, maybe we lost a couple people to maybe they didn't feel worthy to be here. So we lost a couple of our customers that way, and that really springboarded me into, do they not know they're loved? And we don't all know that. So we put on a billboard the words, "You are loved." And that has, since now we call it a movement in our office, and it's a movement, and that's how we do everything. We believe that the greatest superpower that God gave us is love, and it's our job to give that in every facet, whether the person we believe deserves it or not. It's not our job to decide that.
Right.
And so we're going to deliver love in every conversation, in everything that we do. And those words mean so much more than just words in that billboard to us.
I just want to interject something here. I believe you're an answer to prayer, because we've been praying that God would bring righteous people into our community with a vision for the gospel. So you fulfilled that. But furthermore, the play that I'm talking about that we're going to put on, WWJD, which stands for what?
What would Jesus do?
Where'd that come from? Came from the book, In His Steps. That's where it came from. And so you are implementing that. You just said it. before we make any decisions, now you said major decisions, the book says any decision. Ask yourself, would Jesus be happy with this decision? Whether it's a personal or a public decision, private or whatever. And that's a good question for every one of us to apply to our lives. Would Jesus be pleased with this decision? I interrupted you.
No, that's great.
Go ahead.
No, and is that not something we all can try to get better and better at every single day, where we're making it every decision?
Yeah.
In every decision we
Yeah.
default to that?
Exactly.
And so we use the word default a lot, what is our default? Is our default to that prayer? Is our default to that love? And we believe that, we decided that was our movement, but gosh, we're getting better and better at it every single day to make love our default, because sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to do that, to make love our default, and I think you all can feel that same way too in your lives, where love can be a tough thing to default to. But if we stay forward on it, think about it, and think about what would Jesus do in that moment, well, he'd probably love first, I'm sure.
Is your staff on board with this?
Mm-hmm.
And that will make all the difference in the world. When I walked into your office, that little gal there, what's her name? Abby. She just lit up like a light bulb. She is so gracious and so warm and so welcoming. You feel like, hey, I want to come back here just because I like the feeling I get when I walk in the building. It's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she is awesome.
Tell her, too. Tell her I said so.
I will do
Tell her
that.
to watch the program. Then she can.
Abby, you're awesome.
We were talking just a little bit ago about this thing about mixing God with business, and I was reminded of some major corporations like Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby, which are notoriously Christian, to the point where they close their doors on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And there's business people who say, that's pretty dumb, but they don't know God. That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart, because I remember when I lived in Columbus, Ohio, there was a Chrysler Plymouth dealership up the road, and they had a miniature golf course next to it. And we wanted to go play miniature golf one Sunday. We got there, it says closed. What kind of businessman is this guy? It turns out the kind of businessman that guy is he owned the largest Chrysler Plymouth dealership east of the Mississippi River, because he honored God. He said, I don't have to sell cars on Sunday. I don't have to have people putting golf balls on Sunday. They can come any other day of the week. And the human mind says that's dumb, but the one that knows Jesus says that's smart. When we choose to honor God, then he honors us. Mm-hmm. So that's absolutely awesome. What else you got to say? Anything you want to say about that billboard thing? Any further?
Just our prayer when we first put it up, it wasn't going to be up very long initially.
Uh-huh.
But our prayer on it, my wife and I designed it. She's a graphic designer, so she makes everything look pretty for us. And it's very simple, just says, you are loved. We prayed on it, and our prayer was, we hope that in the next year, this was a few years ago now, we hope in the next year someone can drive by that billboard and they can read those words and they can think about who in their life loves them, and maybe that changes their mindset that day of how they feel about themselves. Can we save one soul there? And that was all we wanted. And I believe it's probably, prayerfully, done way more than that. And so we're going to keep it up. We're going to keep praying out. We're going to keep doing it.
Good for you. My brother and his wife had a billboard ministry too. They had 2 in Colorado, right on interstate intersections, Colorado, and a couple in Florida. And it said, declare his glory. Taken out of Psalm, I think it was 86 somewhere. But declare his glory. And people drive by that and they see his beautiful picture of lake and mountains and all that kind of stuff. The heavens declare the glory of God. The Bible tells us that. And the earth shows forth his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, night unto night. There is no place on the face of the earth where his voice is not heard. You know, if you're saying you don't believe in God, look around you. Look around you. Look at the stars. Look at the moon. Look at the sun. Look at the sunsets. I mean, look at your fingerprint. It's the only one like it on the planet. How can you even do that? Nick, how can somebody invent a different fingerprint for every single person? God's a creator, and there's no limit to his creative genius. Well, we're excited about the play. We're excited about the yard signs that you're going to put up in your yard. And we're just excited about life. I feel, you can drive into a town, and if you're spiritually tuned, you can feel what's going on in that town. I drove into one place down in Illinois, Indiana. It was where 3 or 4 states come together. And you just drove in and you got this blah feeling, It was just dark, heavy, just oppressive, without meeting anybody or anything. And then I heard somebody say one day they drove into here and they said, I felt something different when I drove in Highway 10. There's something different about this city of Detroit Lakes. There is something different. We are making a difference. You can make a difference. Business owner, you can make a difference. Would you like to promote the play in your business? I'd like to put a little jug on your thing. Free drawing. We're going to give away 2 tickets, and people can sign up if you'd like to do that. Now, if you don't want to bring Jesus into the mix, that's your choice. I'm just giving you an opportunity to get blessed. Because God says, when you declare me before men, I'll declare you before my Father. But if you deny me, what's that mean? What's that mean to deny Jesus? Are people ashamed? Are people ashamed of Jesus? Must be, because Paul said, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I'm asking you, television watcher today, Channel 3, Leighton Broadcasting Station, I'm asking you, are you ashamed of Jesus, or are you willing and practicing, openly declaring him wherever and whenever you have opportunity? Have you seen The Chosen? Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen The Chosen, do yourself a favor. Just go to the app, The Chosen, install it, and there's session after session after session. I've watched them several times and I cry every time.
I rewatched like 4 episodes and I cried in every single one of them. I'm with you.
We just watched one last night at church. We're going through them. And it was a part where the woman with the issue of blood and Jairus' daughter being raised from the dead. Both of them were on one episode. And I'll tell you, when you see stuff like that, it brings it so to life. You say, and Jesus raised the dead. And then you go on to the next, Jesus raised the dead. Do you know what that means? People that were dead came back to life. And there will some say, they weren't really dead. They were dead. Jesus was dead on the cross too. Some would say he didn't really die. He really died. He was dead for 3 days in the grave, but he didn't stay there. He rose from the grave. Nick, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming.
Amazing to see you.
Hope you've enjoyed this, folks. We enjoyed it. It's just been a blast. Just presenting all this information to you. I hope it's been helpful. Hope it's been an encouragement. Hope it's been a challenge. I hope you get your yard signs. Hope you get your tickets for the play. And I hope you bring Jesus into your life, in your home, your neighborhood, your business, your school, wherever, because that's where he belongs. We've kicked him out of a lot of those places, and it's time to bring him back in, because we're going down the tubes without him, in case you hadn't noticed. Okay, that's it. God bless you. See you next week.